As soon as he acceded to the premiership, it was clear from his actions, not from SLA's actions, that he was out to achieve certain personal objectives. He wanted passionately to attract popularity to himself as distinct from that which he and all of us enjoyed as leaders of the action group. He wanted to demonstrate that he was more skilled in the art of governance and more devoted to the welfare and happiness of the people than his predecessor in office. Above all, as was discovered later, he wanted to be both premier of the region and leader of the AG. He said about these objectives in a manner which he no doubt regarded as adroit. And I've said it earlier, primary ambition Baba SLA was to be both premier and leader. And I'll tell you something, in 1,000 years, it could not have happened. Awo literally formed that party. It was his baby. And it was operated in such a way that you're supposed to be moving party chairmanship. This is not PDP. On that, Awo was right. We'll talk about it later. Sometime in January 1960, let's get into how Akintola decided to push his populism. Sometime in January 1960, during his first month in office as premier, Akintola told me rather casually that he was thinking of reducing rates and taxes in the region. I advised him not to contemplate such a policy as it was in our circumstances dangerous or dangerous, like Odumeje, dangerous. Then on 10th February 1960, at Akintola's request, a meeting was held in my house at Ibadan. It was attended by Chief Akintola himself, Chief J.A. Owodebi, and Chief Samuel Ladoke. The latter two were Minister for Finance and Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance, respectively. Now remember, please, this man, Chief J.A. Owodebi, who is the Minister of Finance, or what we now call Commissioner of Finance, was the same person that Akinjide referred to here when he was talking about the fact that there was no money. But what happened in the meeting? Let's go into it. The latter two were Minister for Finance and Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance, respectively. Chief Adebo was also head of the civil service of the region. That's why there's a building named after him in Ibadan, or development center, they call it. At this meeting, SLA spoke of the desirability of reducing per capita flat rate tax from an average of £4.17 and 6 pence, and of abolishing flat rate tax on women. There were only 3 divisions in which the latter kind of tax was paid in the whole of the Western region: Egba Division, Ijebu Division, and Ijebu Remo Division. In these areas, the flat rate tax on women was 5 shillings, 10 shillings, and £2 respectively. In other words, even those 3 regions, those 3 divisions that were paying, okay, let me explain, then slow down. Let me finish reading that, I'll explain. It's better that way. There were only 3 divisions in which the other kind of tax was paid in the whole of the Western region: Egba Division, Ijebu Division, and Ijebu Remo Division. In these 3 areas, the flat rate tax on women was 5 shillings, 10 shillings, and £2 respectively. In parentheses, it is useful to note that I am an Ijebu, and that my parliamentary constituency was Ijebu Remo, a phratry of Ijebu tribe. Why is it saying this? I like what Papa also wrote, Ijebu tribe of Yoruba nation, or your tribe or Yoruba nation, not Yoruba tribe. Anyway, here's the point I'm trying to make. The Western region had men and women. The men were paying taxes. The women were not paying taxes. At some point, they decided to introduce taxes to women. Now, or they decided to introduce women paying taxes, right? Or levies or whatever. Taxes, yeah. Now, here's the issue. There are many divisions in Western region, but I was concentrated on 3. And one of those 3 was its own. I mean, even the 3 were too close to each other, to be honest. It was from Remo, Ikene, that's his constituency. They collect taxes there. It was from Egba. Sorry, it was from Remo. Remo is close to Ijebu. Ijebu is not far from Egba. Here's the crazy part. The folks in Egba division were paying 5 shillings. The women from Egba divisions were paying 5 shillings. The ones from Ijebu division were supposed to pay 10 shillings. The ones from Awolowo's constituency were supposed to pay £2. Women in all other divisions did not pay anything. I'll explain what I said again. Egba will pay 5 shillings. Egba women paid 5 shillings. Ijebu women paid 10 shillings. Ijebu Remo, where Awo came from, would then pay £2. Here's the crazy thing. All the other women in all the other divisions in Western region did not pay anything. When Akintola introduced this idea of removal of flat rate tax on women, if you really understand this policy, which is not hard to understand, I'm sure you already get it. he was targeting Awo. He wanted folks in his own space, in Awo's own space, to then see him as, if Akintola is asking us to not pay Kini, how come you're now asking us to pay flat rate? To even make it worse, we are paying more than every other person. We're paying £2. Can you believe it? We're paying £2. And that was a lot of money back then, right? So the point is, it was populist, and the idea was to actually have people have this, like pass a vote of no confidence in the former government, which was Awolowo's government. So this was a way to warm his way into people's hearts and almost to have people actually have disdain for his predecessor. This is where it gets worse. Let's read a few more things before we go. Chief Akintola pointed out that due to my prudent management and finances of the region, Chief Akintola pointed out that due to my prudent management, the finances of the region were strong, contrary to what we read in the other book. Accordingly, it was not right in his view that the people of the region should continue to be subjected to heavy flat rate tax, as was then the case. So he said to him that due to my prudent management, the finances of the region were strong. Accordingly, it was not right in his view that the people of the region should continue to be subjected to heavy flat rate tax, as was then the case. The region was affluent and its economy was buoyant. He felt strongly that the people should be made to have a share of the prevailing affluence. Chief Awolowo then spoke. That's the one that Professor Ojetokun was referring to earlier. This is what the Debbie said. He said that he had advised against the Premier's proposal. That's the Minister of Finance. He had advised against the Premier's proposals, but obviously in vain. He thought that before a final decision was taken, my views should be consulted, hence the meeting. So they consulted Papa. In my contribution, I made 4 points. First, these actions would amount to a vote of no confidence in the former administration, which in the midst of the region's affluence had insisted that the people should bear the burden of rates and taxes. Why do you have people paying taxes when your economy is buoyant? Because something might happen tomorrow. It's leadership, it's foresight. Lekki Epe Expressway, 2020 NSAS. Close it down. Should not be paying anything. What are you saying? Okay. Lekki concession, closed down. Now the roads are having issues. The people are crying. That's what happens when you listen to people to lead them. You see, they're not easy to say in public, but let me tell you the truth. If you really, leadership is hard. You'll be leading people and you'll be thinking the best for them and they'll be cursing you out. And it's better for you to do that than to listen to them and make them happy in that moment. Because if you make them happy in that moment, 10 years later, 20 years later, all the days of their life, they'll be cursing you. So this one that they will curse you for 1 or 2 years, let them curse you and then they'll be happy. When they eventually discover it, their curses will not work anyway. When they eventually discover what you were doing, they will now be like, that's how parenting is too now. Now that the roads are bad, Lekki Epe Express, people are complaining about the road. The company that should be fixing the road, the tolls they're supposed to collect, they have been denied. Nobody's collecting that again, Abi. Okay, you're not paying, so we are all enjoying. Now the roads are bad. Who will fix the roads? That's what happens when you do this populist thing. People will be celebrating you. They'll be happy that And I said, in the conversation I had today, we were talking about the different presidents. Somebody said, so I said, as far as I am concerned, in Nigeria's history, like since 1999, the best president so far, since 1999, is President Tinubu. The second president so far, or the second best, is President Olusegun Obasanjo. Then he said, how about Yaradua? It's recently that I started hearing that Yaradua was a fantastic president. I just started hearing it not too long ago. And I said, there is something that Yaradua did that everybody must always acknowledge. Amnesty for Niger Delta. That was something he did that we will forever be grateful to him for. But one thing that he did that makes me actually question, he's dead, so I want to be careful, don't speak ill of the dead. But let's explain this one. 2007, Obasanjo left power. Yar'Adua became president. Before he left power, in the twilight of his days as president, he had sold the refinery. Yar'Adua becomes president. NLC began to shout, "Oh, they sold our common patrimony. We must take it back. We all know that it's our own." All these things, capitalism, monopoly, snake and ladder, chess, ludo, talking nonsense. People, oh, there's going to start monopoly. Okay. Yar'Adua did something that made everybody like him. He reversed the sale of the refinery. He reversed the sale of those refineries. Everybody was like, it's our man, no. He has given to us what we wanted. This is what belongs to us. We'll not allow anybody to steal what belongs to us. 18 years after the reversal of those sales, 18 years, not one drop of oil came out of those refineries. In the immediate, everybody celebrated him. In the long run, we had nothing come out of that place. You know where it gets even crazier is the fact that people were being paid salaries without producing anything. People were retiring and getting gratuity. People were collecting pensions and are still collecting pensions without producing nothing. 18 years. Dangote now came. Some clowns now said they want to go and stop his work, stop it. You want to stop the work. You will have to have right. Right go. Left me. So if you are looking for why I like Dangote and support this refinery, that's why. Because I saw it in 2007. I didn't know enough politics as I do now, apparently. But somewhere in me, I just feel like this is wrong. You can't abide by the whims and caprices of the people and lead them. You will lead them into a ditch and they will hate you for it. So here's the point, right? People get paid. Now, when they shout that NLC is doing something, TUC is doing something, workers have rights and their rights should be respected. I agree. But the question to people is this: all these European workers are always doing. How many Nigerians work for the government? And even when they do, should we do things that affect the entire nation as long as a group? So you reverse the sale of the refineries, right? You get paid, but the people have no oil. Why is this important? Because that's exactly what happened with this thing. The man said, "We will not pay tax. The people should not pay taxes again." You'll be happy and celebrating. Believe it or not, there's a crisis in the international market.